Alright, y'all, you know what time it is. Indie author review time. So, a few weeks ago now, I read Stand By Me by Deborah Hillier. This is a contemporary romance that follows the stories of our female main character, Leah, and our male main character, Corey. Corey, a young man living alone in England, has turned into a bitter, angry shell of himself. When he was 10 years old, his pregnant mother, whom he could never seem to get enough attention from, collapsed dead at his feet while they were playing outside. This was deeply traumatizing for Corey, who blamed himself for his mother's death because he thought maybe if he hadn't been chasing her, it never would have happened. Tommy, Corey's father, didn't handle his wife's passing well at all. He was overcome by grief and he sent Corey away to school in London, basically ripping him out of the only home he'd ever known right after his mother had passed away. 9 years later, Tommy is finally getting remarried. His new bride, an American woman named Janet, comes with a little baggage, her teenage daughter Leah. Corey cannot stand Leah. He finds her slovenly, he hates that she lacks basic manners, and her unladylike behavior just absolutely grates on his nerves. In reality, poor little Leah really isn't doing anything wrong. She's just a chubby, self-conscious teenager who's trying really hard to fit in with these proper, perfect people. She grew up on a ranch and she spent more time with horses than she did with people, and she is now painfully aware how little she has in common with her new stepfamily. At the wedding, as Leah and Corey are forced to walk down the aisle together, Corey makes some absolutely terrible comments to Leah about her appearance. They bring her to tears, and when he doubles down later in front of all his friends, she vows to never let this bully get under her skin again. Screw Corey Stoddard. Who is he to tell her how little she's worth? Now well into adulthood, Corey and Leah have lived vastly different lives. Corey spent his time making a lot of money and spending his time with his well-to-do group of friends. He's backed off from his family a little, but he absolutely adores his 9-year-old half-sister Leslie. She's brought out a softer side in Corey, one that's been sealed off for a long time, but the anger and bitterness is still there, ready to bite anyone who dares come too close. Leah, on the other hand, has not had an easy life. She's been through 2 failed marriages, a miscarriage, and a terminated pregnancy as a teenager. Although she and Corey really couldn't have 2 different lives, they are bonded by one thing: their love for their little sister, Leslie. The fact that she's going to be seeing her baby sister is the only thing getting Leah through this trip to England. She's always had a good relationship with her stepfather, Tommy, but she and her mother have always struggled. Janet is extremely critical of Leah, and she always manages to hurt her feelings in one way or another. Add on to that the inevitability of seeing her bully of a stepbrother, Corey, and she is just really anxious about this trip. As Corey arrives at his family's home, he makes a beeline for Leslie's room. What he finds there is the most beautiful woman he has ever laid eyes on. She almost has familiar features, but he's not quite sure where he's seen her before. As she greets him with a familiar hug, he's taken aback until he realizes this is his stepsister, no longer the pudgy teenager he used to relentlessly torment. Now he's completely confused, torn between the image he used to have of her and this absolute goddess who is standing before him. This is one of those books that I could talk about for 5 hours and not be done with the plot. So we're going to switch to author and writing. So, okay, right off the bat, I was very nervous about this book because I absolutely hate the trope of the male love interest is a dick. He's a bully. He treats the female main character like crap. And then all of a sudden we're in love and it's so nice and sweet. No, I hate that. I absolutely hate that we romanticize that. However, I was pleasantly surprised by Mr. Corey. He probably takes the cake as having the best character development in any of the indie books I've read. And I ended up absolutely adoring him at the end of the story, which if you would have went and told me that when I started it, I would have not believed you. All the characters in this book are so well written. Like Tommy, Corey's dad, he's a freaking gem. The way he treats his stepdaughter, who, you know, doesn't even get treated well by her mother, her own mother, is just, oh, it's so good. I just loved it so much. And then the little sister, Leslie, had me in tears multiple times because of how freaking sweet she was. I loved all the characters in this book. Also, the prose is really beautiful in this book. Deborah has a knack for describing like immersive scenery. When I can smell something in a book, that always tells me that the author knows what they're doing. This is the first book in a series, and I'm going to be reading the next one soon because Deborah was sweet enough to send me a paperback, so I can't wait to read it. And I'm going to have Deborah tagged in the comments, so please go give her some love and a follow and definitely check out this amazing book.